She's Katy Montgomery. He's Justin Joseph. These best friends are serving subpoenas to bad advice weekly with Wrong Way Forward. Now, here's Katy and Justin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Wrong Way Forward. This is the podcast where we roast bad advice. My name is Katy Montgomery, and I am here with my best friend, Justin Joseph, and we're excited to dive in today. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing great. We just went through a big snowstorm here, a May snowstorm, which is an unusual thing for us, and we're digging out. But yeah, doing great. What about you? How's the beach?
The beach is amazing, and I'm pretty excited because I don't have a single appointment tomorrow. So I might get drunk tonight and drunk tomorrow.
Now, will you actually go lay on the beach, or, I mean, you guys spend a lot of time down on the beach?
So, it's really funny, Justin. We were talking about this, like, when you're, and anybody who sees me can see that I am not a tan goddess. Like I am very pale. But it used to be when we were in college and even afterwards, you would try to get tan, and when we're going to have lots of company come in, like Justin, you're going to know about 6 or 7 people who are coming in kind of
all at once, or are you kind of staggering it out?
We're having people sprinkle in, but the last weekend's going to be really fun. It's going to be a lot of Loyola people, a lot of Loyola girls. And I know they're going to want to go on the beach. So I will go on the beach. But if I'm at the beach and they're not there, I'm like, I don't want to put on all the sunscreen. I don't want to wear a big hat. I'm finally at the age where I'm trying to take care of my skin. I don't want to drag everything down there, but I love being at the beach. I love hearing the water. I love, having kind of that stuff. But the production, not so much.
And are you guys cooking while you're there? Are you going out to dinner every night? Like,
so what we usually do is go out to lunch because you can have like a drink or two and drive. But then at night, we usually cook and then kind of stay here. But, I am a little bit under a mile from the Floribama, the very famous bar on the Florida-Alabama line. And we'll usually walk down there. And what we'll start out is let's have lunch and let's have drinks. And it'll be, 3 or 4 drinks later. And before you know it, we're staying late night and dancing. And then we usually leave when somebody flies a rebel flag or says Trump is king. And then I'm like, we're out.
You probably get a lot of it down there, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. But it usually doesn't pick up until like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But that's when you've already been there 6 or 7 hours. So,
well, it's like when we go to the beach and my parents, we drink as well the first day, especially and then we make friends with everyone. And then we spend the rest of the time with the blinds closed because we're like, oh, they're down there. I don't want to go down and talk to them,
I totally understand that.
It's Josh more than anyone. I mean, I remember one time these women all came, they were all working at Walmart, which they were lovely. But you can put 2 and 2 together, and we
Justin.
Were so. Well, was that mean?
Yes.
Okay.
You're like they worked at Walmart. They were lovely. You had a snarl on your face and said you could put 2 and 2 together.
Well, you can. Anywho, Josh was out there yapping all the first day, just drunk, and then they were in the pool the rest of the time, and we were like, I don't want to go down and hang out with the Walmart people. Anyway, okay, what are we talking about this week's episode?
Anyway, so everybody needs to kind of buckle in because this is a little long one, but this is an advice column called Dear Prudence, which is on slate.com. And I think this is really interesting. And so this is basically, the title of this is My Brother's New Girlfriend Got Drunk at My Birthday and Stole My Cake. So this was published in August of 2020. So you have to think, it's COVID time. So this person writes in and says, look, I had a small socially distant party for my birthday. It was supposed to just be my brother, my roommate, my boyfriend, and me. But my brother brought his new girlfriend, Emily, and her small son without asking.
Emily?
And proceeds to say that it just, the fact that she brought her son made it kind of miserable because, Emily was, not taking care of her son and they were having to watch. But she said her roommate got her a very expensive cake. And when she was handing out slices, Emily pushed her over and tried to take a huge slice for her son. And at this point, already this girl has had enough. She stopped Emily and told her to take a smaller slice. And then she put the rest of the cake back in the fridge. And then she basically goes up to her brother and says, you got to take control over this. And so it's towards the end of the night and her boyfriend goes to look in the fridge and the cake is gone. And she's pissed off, runs after the brother. They're still in the parking lot trying to buckle up the kid. And she goes up to Emily and demands that she gives her back the cake. So Emily took her cake. And she first says she doesn't know what she's talking about. And the girl sees the cake in the back seat. I mean, she could see it. And she looks to her brother and is like, give it back to me. And then Emily changes her story and says, you gave it to me because you said cake is for kids. And so she calls her a liar. And so the roommate then who actually bought the cake comes in. This has become a whole drama. Comes in, opens the car door and grabs the cake. At this point, Emily tries to stop her from the cake she stole. She's trying to stop her from retrieving it. And then she starts swearing, the kids start crying, and everyone goes home. And Emily says it was an accident. But, anyway, everybody is like, this is appalled. This is ridiculous. And she's really doubling down. So she tells her brother, you need to talk to your girlfriend and she needs to apologize. And she needs to give me a cake from the same bakery. So absolutely ridiculous. And she's saying this is the very first time the girlfriend met any of us. She had horrible behavior. And so it's called Cake Tug-of-War. And so I'm hearing that sound again. It must be here at the beach. And so that Prudence writes back and says, I'll happily concede that your brother should have asked before bringing two guests. But neither your brother's thoughtlessness nor Emily's rudeness justifies your own response, which was nowhere near the line. You had a number of opportunities to let something go or politely put your foot down before you found yourself arguing with a drunk woman in the street over a cake. You have the right to decide whether someone is a guest in your home. When your brother showed up with two strangers, you could have said, I'm sorry, I can't safely accommodate surprise guests. Let's find another time for a safe introduction. The fact that Emily got drunk and ignored her son reflects badly on her indeed, but if your brother was unwilling to handle it, the best response available is not take a smaller piece of cake, you witch, but to tell them politely and firmly to leave. And escalating the situation by chasing after them doesn't seem to have done much to make your birthday party more fun. I'm sorry your party was unpleasant, and I'm sorry one of your guests took your leftovers. You have sufficient reason to dislike and distrust Emily and not to welcome into your home again. But what if you and your roommate and boyfriend had let it go and focused on having a good time after your brother and Emily left? Plus, it's a waste of time and energy to try to persuade her to replace the cake or to grant her the power to ruin your birthday. Someone has to de-escalate this, so unless you want to spend the next year going back and forth with your brother over whether he owes you a cake, let that person be you. So, Justin, what would you do if you had an Emily at your party and she stole your very fancy and expensive birthday cake?
Well, I have to pull it. This reminds me so much of the scene in Bridesmaids. I want to play it for you. This is the scene where Kristen Wiig is on the plane and trying to sneak into first class. And let's listen to the scene, then we can talk about
it. No, you're not. You were just...
This is where Kristen... All right, here we go.
Miss?
No, it's not me.
Yes, it is you. Please go back to your seat.
Yes, I'm with him. I'm
Do you remember this scene?
Mrs.
Yes.
Mrs. Iglesias.
No, you're not. You were just out here and you put sunglasses on. Out.
I don't want to. Sir, she can have my seat.
Okay, anyway, you probably need to see this visually, but it reminds me of that. This woman has no business being here. She behaves totally inappropriate. This isn't a birthday party. She treats it like it's Ocean's 11 cake heist. I mean, she stole the cake. So I think it's hilarious, but the brother needs to get rid of her immediately.
Well, I mean, I do think Emily is definitely in poor behavior. I think the other thing is this woman, and now, mind you, it might be that it was COVID, that she was having a small party, that she's not good with surprises. These two people show up. She'd lost control over the situation, and therefore she just lost all sense of any kind of, right and wrong. But this woman really dug in about this dumb cake. It's like she's never had a piece of nice cake before. I mean, it's a $50 cake. I mean, this person's not destitute. And so the fact that she's even getting obsessed about the size of a cake per person, then taking it to stealing the cake, I'm just wondering what's up with her that she is so laser focused on this cake. I mean, like, I think she felt out of control, and this was the one thing that she was going to control, and you will take it from my kung fu grip, right? And so I think she needs to check herself as to why she was having such a crazy reaction to this. I think Emily's a piece of work. And, you know, the fact that she showed up, that she was so, I mean, here's the thing, when you are being introduced to a family, and I hate to say this because I don't want to say this about women, but particularly when you're meeting the sister, you work a little extra hard, right? Like, I think
You're on
a
your best
sister,
behavior.
yeah, like I would think a sister would be, I think probably it was easier for people to meet my brothers, you know, like for Colleen to meet Charles than it was to meet me, because,
Yeah, 100%.
you know, I'm more judgmental, and I'm, you know, and I'm a female myself, and I'm checking things out that a guy's like, hey, do you want a beer? You know? And so I'm like, the fact that Emily is just so effing stupid to show up when she knows she's not, and to not act on her best P's and Q's, leads me to believe that she's crazy. She's a narcissist. She doesn't understand, again, community standards. She has no emotional intelligence. So I do think the right way forward is for him to dump her ass. But I think I pretty much agree with maybe Prudence that this woman was just too laser focused on the cake, and she needs to check herself and understand why this sent her into such fight and flight.
Hold that thought. We'll take it up on the other side. We'll be right back on Wrong Way Forward.
You've been listening to Wrong Way Forward, where bad advice goes to die and then gets resurrected just so we can roast it again.
If you're enjoying the chaos, hit like and subscribe and come back every Thursday for new episodes.
Have a new topic or some disastrously bad advice you want to dissect? Email wrongwayforwardpodcast@gmail.com. Include your contact info.
Now back to Wrong Way Forward.
Roasting the worst advice ever. Welcome back to the Katy and Justin podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Wrong Way Forward. This week, we're talking about the Great Cake Heist. It's basically an episode of Ocean's 11 where a brother brings his girlfriend to a party. It's his sister's party, and this woman basically loses all of her mind over cake. Apparently, it's some amazing cake, and ends up stealing the cake. And the advice column asks what the family's supposed to do about this. When we left, Katy was saying basically Emily is the girl who stole the cake. Emily sucks. We agree on that. And the question also is, do you let foreign people you don't know into your house?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I have a very unique experience on this because I lived in Singapore during COVID. I mean, it was the most extreme of extremes. Like, if you know, were in America, and particularly there were certain regions of the country that handled COVID maybe, you know, more delicately than others. In Singapore, I mean, it was every time we went to a mall or a grocery store, we had to scan a QR code so they could do tracing. If you left the country and came back, you had to be in isolation for 14 days, and they would test you on day 11. They had rules where, I'm not kidding you, I had a friend who was married with 4 kids. They would go to a restaurant, and you could only sit at tables of 4. Their family had to separate, even though they went in one minivan to the restaurant, left in one minivan, and all lived together. If they went to a restaurant, they had to sit at 2 tables. So for me, I was kind of in a period where it was so strict. So and I do believe that some people, you know, held that strictness. So I understand that she was upset because it's COVID, it's a small party, and then to have that thrown on you, right? And so, but the fact that she kind of transferred, and there was major transference going on here, it just went to the cake. My guess is she was really super pissed at her brother. But she loves her brother, she's close with the brother, her brother was invited. And so she asked her brother to do some stuff, but the brother really failed to show up on multiple occasions.
And wouldn't you be mortified if you were the brother? Like, oh my God, who's this woman?
Yes. And I'd also be mortified about my sister's behavior. I'd be like, I'm trapped between 2 nutcases. But the thing about it is I think partly is that she was so disappointed in him, but it's way easier to put that shit on Emily, because Emily's not the person you love. It's not your family. It's not the person you're disappointed in. It's not the person you expected more. So she funneled everything towards Emily, and even by product to Emily's son, you know, this poor innocent, you know,
right,
sitting here and watching this cake tug-of-war, you know, rather than saying to her brother, get your shit together, you're going to need to leave.
No, I agree. I think the advice here that's basically what the advice is that this Emily is crazy. And I agree that not a good look coming into a party.
Well, and here's the thing. I never go, you know this, I never go anywhere empty-handed. I mean, even to like my brother's house, I mean, not my brother that lives in DC because we're always kind of in each other's house, but like if I go to like Charles's house, I come with something, like I bring something. So the fact that like, Emily's trying to take stuff and didn't even bring something, I mean, she was just raised in a barn.
100%.
What are you typing there?
I was asking ChatGPT if it had any takes on this. I'm curious as to what its take is. ChatGPT brings up the fact that the debate is the brother worse than the girlfriend for doing this. What do we think?
Well, I mean, the girlfriend right now, I mean, she's dumb because she should have positioned herself well, but she doesn't know this girl anything. The brother does. And it's her sister's birthday. So, I would probably say he's more at fault.
And also it's about first impression, right? It's like the whole point of this is first impressions matter.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
All right. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll wrap this up and talk about this week's hot topics. We'll be right back after this. Thanks for streaming Wrong Way Forward, the weekly reminder that advice is usually free for a reason. We call out bad advice wherever it hides: boardrooms, break rooms, and even book clubs.
Enjoying this dumpster fire? Like, subscribe, and check back every Thursday for new episodes. Want us to roast your favorite piece of nonsense? Email us at wrongwayforwardpodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to include your contact info. We're not psychic, just judgmental. And now, back to Wrong Way Forward.
Roasting the worst advice ever. Welcome back to the Katy and Justin.
Hey, everybody, and we are back. We're going to cover kind of a hot piece in the news right now, which is Gwyneth Paltrow had Kara Swisher on for the Goop podcast and basically kind of berated, rich men, kind of over $200 million kind of net worth, and what is their kind of advantage or what are they adding to society? So I think Justin's got a clip of that.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it on the other side. Here we go.
We got to this place in culture where sort of nothing matters. And now all that matters is these kind of super rich white dudes who are breaking rules, setting rules, seemingly like not caring so much about the downstream impact on everything.
They don't think they're responsible for the dead.
All right, so that's what Gwyneth Paltrow said. Katie, what's your take on that?
I have to tell you, I saw this video and I hearted it.
Well, it's interesting because, she drives me nuts. Gwyneth Paltrow is not my favorite person in the world. But she was criticized for this because she is a super rich white dude, except she's female.
Right. But I think at least, I think some people would argue is that she does see the trickle down and that, she does see kind of her role in society and in the community, and I don't think she is as rich as the people that she's talking about. Right. But I could see where that criticism comes from. But I think Kara Swisher's right. And I think like we've created a space where if you make a certain amount of money, you are absolved from community norms. You can actually create the rules. You can make exceptions for yourself. And nobody's calling anyone out of.
And we're talking about the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musks. Is that who we're talking about here?
Yeah, definitely.
And what about the argument that these are people that made their way and these aren't people who got their money from family or inheritance. They were smart people who made their way.
Well, I think here's the thing. If you actually, the question is what is that they got their way? If you look at Mark Zuckerberg's upbringing, if you look at Bill Gates' upbringing, if you look at Elon Musk's upbringing, these were very privileged. These aren't people who pulled themselves up from their own bootstraps.
Oh, I don't know that I agree. These are people who built things out of nothing. I still think you have to give them some
Agreed. But I think to say that, that they didn't come, from privilege and exposure, it's that whole kind of concept, like, when you're born on home base versus born on first, it's a lot easier to get the hit.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting is that she also had the nerve to say that. I think now so many people are avoiding saying anything that is remotely controversial because of the backlash and because things fly through social media so fast. It's almost in real time that you're going to get the trolling and the negative feedback. And so I appreciate that she had the nerve to say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's this week's episode of Wrong Way Forward. We will see you next time. And Katie, we're actually getting ready to start season 3.
We are. I think it's kind of crazy. And just to say thank you, to our viewers. I thought this was so interesting. Just kind of looking at our stats and where we've gone over time. We're in 507 cities. We're in 56 countries and territories. And we're close to 5,000 downloads. And that's not including kind of our activity on our social media sites. So we do thank everyone. And next week, we're going to have a best of season 2 episode. And then when you see us in season 3, I will actually be in Denver. So we will be filming some episodes together where we're in the same room. And so we're pretty excited to see what hijinks will ensue.
We'll see you next week on Wrong Way Forward. All right, that's a wrap on this week's episode of Wrong Way Forward. Remember, the only thing worse than taking bad advice is giving it.
If you've liked what you've heard, like, subscribe, or follow us wherever you stream podcasts. And if you've got a topic or need some advice we'll probably regret giving, email us at wrongwayforwardpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Wrong Way Forward.